Have you ever asked yourself what you would do if you found a fortune that didn't belong to you? Imagine for a moment, you are hungry, you are desperate, your family is suffering, and suddenly, right in front of you, lies the answer to all your prayers. A bag of gold, a bundle of cash, something that could wipe away all your tears in a second. No one is watching, no one would ever know. The world has been cruel to you, so why shouldn't you take a little piece of happiness for yourself? It is easy to be honest when your stomach is full. It is easy to have morals when you have money in the bank. But true character is not tested in the light, it is tested in the dark. Today, I want to tell you a story about a boy who faced this exact test. A boy who had nothing, yet possessed something that billions of dollars cannot buy. This is the story of Aryan, and the choice he made one rainy afternoon didn't just change his bank account, it changed his destiny. Our story takes place in a bustling, noisy city, a place where huge glass skyscrapers stood right next to tiny, crumbling slums. In one of those narrow, dusty alleys lived Aryan. Aryan was only 20 years old, but if you looked into his eyes, you would see the exhaustion of a man twice his age. His hands were rough, his skin was sunburnt, and his shoes were worn so thin you could almost feel the ground through them. He lived in a small one-room shack with his mother. It wasn't much of a home. The roof leaked when it rained, and the walls were damp, but it was all they had. His father had passed away years ago, leaving them with nothing but memories and a mountain of debt. Every morning, Aryan would wake up at 4 a.m. While the rest of the city was sleeping in warm beds, Aryan was walking 6 miles to work. He worked as a cleaner at the Grand Royal Hotel, the most luxurious hotel in the city. It was a strange life. By day, Aryan was surrounded by extreme wealth. He polished marble floors that cost more than his entire life's earnings. He opened doors for people wearing suits that cost thousands of dollars. He smelled the expensive perfume of guests who walked past him without even looking at him. To them, Aryan was invisible. He was just a boy in a gray uniform with a mop in his hand. But Aryan never complained. He worked hard. He kept his head down, because his father had taught him one golden rule before he died. He used to say, "Son, never be ashamed of poverty. Poverty is just a condition of your pocket, but be ashamed of dishonesty, for that is a condition of your character." Aryan held on to those words like a shield, but he didn't know that his shield was about to be hit by the hardest blow of his life. One Tuesday, the rains came down hard. It was a cold, gloomy day. Aryan was getting ready for work when his mother started coughing. It wasn't a normal cough. She was gasping for air. Her face was pale, and she was burning with fever. Aryan was terrified. He ran to the local chemist. The pharmacist took one look at the prescription and said, "This medicine is expensive. It will cost 3,000 rupees. 3,000. Aryan's heart sank. 3,000 was his salary for 2 months. He checked his pockets. He had 50 rupees. He begged the pharmacist, "Please, give it to me now. I will pay you slowly. My mother is dying." But the man shook his head. No money, no medicine. Aryan walked out into the rain, tears streaming down his face. He felt helpless. He felt angry. He looked at the sky and whispered, "Why? Why do we have to suffer so much? I work so hard, yet I can't even save my own mother." He arrived at the hotel, soaking wet. He changed into his uniform, wiped his tears, and started his shift. He was assigned to clean the VIP lounge, a private area for millionaires and business tycoons. The room was empty. It was quiet. Aryan began wiping the tables. As he moved a heavy leather armchair to clean under it, something caught his eye. There, tucked between the cushions, was a watch. He picked it up. His breath stopped. It was heavy. It was made of solid gold, and the face of the watch was surrounded by small, sparkling diamonds. Even a poor boy like Arian knew what this was. This was a Rolex. This was worth lakhs, maybe even millions. Arian looked around. The room was empty. The door was closed. There were no cameras in this specific corner. His heart began to pound against his chest like a drum. He looked at the watch. He looked at the door. A voice in his head started screaming, "Take it! Take it, Arian! God has sent this to you. Sell it. You can buy the medicine. You can fix the roof. You can buy your mother a proper bed. You will never be hungry again. The rich man who lost this, he won't even miss it. He has 10 other watches." For a moment, his hand closed tight around the watch. He slipped it into his pocket. It felt warm. It felt like safety. It felt like freedom. He took a step toward the exit. He could just walk out. No one would suspect the cleaner. But then he froze. He closed his eyes. In the darkness of his mind, he didn't see the money. He saw his father's face. He heard that voice again. "Keep your head high and your hands clean."
If he took this watch, his mother would get the medicine. But every time he looked at her, he would know that her life was saved by a theft. He would know that he was no longer the son his father was proud of. He would be a thief. Arian stood there for a full minute, fighting the war between his desperate need and his conscience. Finally, he let out a shaky breath. He took the watch out of his pocket. He walked out of the lounge and ran straight to the reception desk. "Excuse me," Arian said, his voice trembling. "Who was in the VIP lounge just now?" The receptionist looked up. "That was Mr. Roy, the construction tycoon. He is in the lobby right now, and he is very angry. He lost something." Arian turned and ran to the main lobby. He saw a man in a sharp suit screaming at his assistants. "I don't care! Find it! That watch was a gift from my grandfather. It is priceless. If you don't find it, you are all fired." The staff looked terrified. The security guards were running around. Arian stepped forward. He looked small and dirty in his work clothes amidst the luxury. "Sir?" Arian said softly. Mr. Roy spun around, his face red with rage. "What? What do you want? I don't have time for this." Arian didn't say a word. He simply opened his hand. Under the bright chandelier lights, the gold watch glittered. The entire lobby went silent. Mr. Roy's eyes went wide. He grabbed the watch. He checked it. It was real. It was his. He looked at Arian, stunned. Where did you find this?" "It was in the armchair, sir. It must have slipped out of your pocket." Mr. Roy stared at the boy. He knew he had left the lounge unattended. This boy could have taken it. He could have changed his life forever. But he brought it back. Mr. Roy quickly pulled out his wallet. He took out a thick bundle of cash, 10,000, maybe 20,000 rupees. He thrust it towards Arian. "Here, take this, a reward. You saved me today." Arian looked at the money. It was enough for the medicine. It was enough for food. But Arian gently pushed Mr. Roy's hand away. "No, sir," Arian said, firmly. "What?" Mr. Roy was confused. "It's not enough? You want more?" Arian smiled, a sad, gentle smile. "No, sir. I cannot take money for this. My father taught me that honesty is a duty, not a business transaction. If I take money for being honest, then I'm just doing business. Please, just keep your watch safe." Arian bowed his head slightly and turned to walk back to his cleaning cart. Mr. Roy stood there completely frozen.
He was a man who dealt with billionaires and politicians every day. He was used to people who would lie, cheat, and steal for a single rupee. And here was a boy, wearing torn shoes, refusing a fortune because of his principles. "Wait!" Mr. Roy shouted. Aryan stopped. Mr. Roy walked up to him. The anger was gone from his face. Now there was only respect. "What is your name, son?" "Aryan, sir." "Aryan," Mr. Roy said, putting a hand on his shoulder. "You are too rich in character to be cleaning floors. The world needs people like you." Mr. Roy did not give Aryan a cash reward that day. Instead, he did something better. He asked about Aryan's life. He found out about his sick mother. Mr. Roy immediately sent his own personal doctor to treat her and paid for all the expenses. But he didn't stop there. He offered Aryan a job in his office, not as a cleaner, but as a trainee. He said, "I can teach a man how to do business. I can teach him mathematics and sales, but I cannot teach a man integrity. You already have the most important qualification." Aryan worked hard. He studied at night and worked by day. He climbed the ladder of success, not by cheating, but by working harder than anyone else. 5 years later, he was a manager. 10 years later, he was a director. Today, Aryan is a wealthy man. He has a beautiful house and a happy family. But if you go to his office, you won't see trophies of his wealth on his desk. You will see a small framed photo of his father, and underneath it, a little note that says, "Poverty is temporary. Class is permanent." What can we learn from Aryan's journey? We live in a world that's obsessed with shortcuts. We see people making quick money and we feel like we're falling behind. We think, if I just bend the rules a little bit, I can win. But remember this, success that comes from dishonesty is not success. It is a loan. And sooner or later, life will come to collect the debt with interest. Real success is being able to look at yourself in the mirror and like what you see. Real wealth is lying down on your pillow at night and sleeping peacefully, knowing you didn't hurt anyone to get where you are. When you are tested, and you will be tested, remember Aryan. Don't trade your values for valuables. Money can be lost, and money can be made again. But once you lose your character, you can never buy it back. So keep your head high, keep your heart clean, and trust that the right path may be the hard path, but it is the only path that leads to true happiness. Thank you for listening to this story. If this message touched your heart, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And tell me in the comments,